Alright. So, welcome to beginner, hopefully I'm saying this loud enough, that's your beginner to intermediate footwork class. The reason I say beginner and intermediate is because I'm going to just go over really quickly some, mainly 1 or 2 beginner techniques, work on your beginner footwork, and then again a bunch of more intermediate techniques. That'll build your framework and reasons why to use your footwork. So first thing I'm going to ask, do you guys know why footwork is important?
Because you have to move when you fight.
Because you have to move when you fight. Okay. Anything else you guys got?
So you don't get knocked down and murdered.
Okay. You shouldn't get knocked down, even if you don't move your feet. But you guys got anything? Controlling distance, that's good. I'm going to be talking about that in a couple months in my next class. That's a good one.
Control
Shot openings, yeah. Angles. You guys got anything else?
not watching your face.
I think you have to twist the knee like Marco.
All right. Yeah. That's due to bad footwork. Across your feet. Okay. So the big things I'm going to be talking about to start off is the beginner footwork is talking about how to use the footwork to make your shots more effective. So they're going to be more powerful, faster, or whatever, just effective shots. So simple footwork. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about how footwork can put you into angles, or helps you dodge or block attacks, and how it puts you more in defensive position. Dodging, again, is going to be talked about later on, but I'll just skim by it real quick. Then we're going to be talking about fakes, body movements to make fakes. That's how you use your footwork to fake. And then we're also going to be talking about creating angles, which is what Iggy said, opening up attacks and blocks angle-wise. When you change, you move your footwork, you move around, and create different angles. Okay, so the first thing we're going to talk about is very basic footwork. All right, so we have two steps to beginner footwork that you're going to want to do when you're striking. So this is to create more effective striking is what I'm calling it, okay? So you're going to be in your stance, and you got 2 ways that you can go, whether that's with 2 sword, doesn't really matter. I'm just going to show you guys with sword and board. Okay, so when you're striking, to make it more effective, you should always be taking a half step. A half step is basically exactly that. All right. So half steps, anytime you're striking, will give you a little bit more power, and we'll be able to change the angle a little bit, just to make everything more effective. You can come in, you can get in quicker, and it also makes you go up against someone that you're a little bit out of range. You can get in. That half step will put you in range to attack. Okay. So it reduces your speed a little bit because you have to step as you do it, but it increases your speed of your actual strike because it's putting your hip already into it and the motion of you stepping in. So it's not really changing the speed of the strike at all. Now, so that's your half step, and that's what you should be always practicing when you're striking it. You shouldn't be striking like this and not moving your feet. You're either going to half step in to strike, step to the side, doesn't matter, half step somewhere. You always got to be moving your front foot when you strike, or your back foot. And so I'm going into a full step. Now this one puts more power into your strikes, but it slows down your strike a lot because it's obvious when someone's stepping in this way. And the person has a lot of time to react. It doesn't add the speed to your shot enough to balance out the actual full step. So when you're far away and you're taking a full step into someone, you can see it. Someone's coming in to attack. Now this adds a lot of power because your hips are already in the back motion. So when you do step forward, you're using that power. So if you really do need to get in somewhere deep and put a lot of power into it, that's probably your fastest way of doing it. But that's your 2 basic steps that I'm going to be talking about for beginners. So here's your half step. Anytime you're striking, you want to be half stepping, all right? And then your full step. Now the other thing these two things do is, use you put your sword up, is that a regular strike here or here doesn't have very much effect. He can block it. A half step, not only will it increase speed, it changes the angle of your striking a little bit. So it opens up from not being able to hit here to a half step, and there's a little bit more of an angle. So it changes the angle just a slight bit. Now if you're over here and he's blocking and I have to reach to strike, I don't move anything. You shouldn't be reaching like this, by the way, unless you're trying to bait or something. But by taking a full step, that changes the angle big time. There's a huge angle change in the full step. If they don't react and back up, then you have full angle of what you couldn't strike at before. All your angles will change. So that's the difference between a full and a half step. Half steps should be used more commonly when you're striking. Full steps are used still pretty often, but that's just an example of two. Okay, so the next I'm just going to touch on dodging. And your footwork, why you want to keep moving is because it allows you to dodge more. You want to be able to work, whether that's controlling your distance very quickly. All right, and I'll be talking about controlling distance in April's class. Okay, but what I wanted to show how dodging, and this goes into a little bit more. Dodging itself is a very beginner aspect of footwork, and that's when we can talk about controlling distance. It'll be explained then. But I want to talk about dodging and baiting at the same time. So here you grab a surface now. Okay, so if I'm going to be planning to dodge, I might bait this way, and he's going to want to swing, and I can make him move out of the way, and it opens up. This is a little bit less controlling distance, more using footwork to dodge out of the way. It's a combination you can use with baiting, especially if you're going around. You can use it this way too. You come around and hit. However you want to do it. There's a lot of examples of it. I don't have anything too specific right now other than what I just showed you. But again, I'll be talking about controlling distance and dodging more in control distance class. The next one is, I grab a sword. Okay, so I'm using a new example for this next part. We'll see in a second. So the next one is called creating angles. This is the next step of footwork. So this is the biggest part of striking. So if you're going to block my shots, okay? All right, block my no problem. So this shot here, don't put your sword. Just put your sword there. So I can't strike there without changing angles. If he goes a bit straighter, doesn't matter. So the big thing about getting inside or outside is being able to change your angle. So if I'm this way when you're striking, this shot isn't there, but this shot is very easy if I move at a 45-degree angle. Or this shot. Okay. A straight shot down from here to here is a huge difference. Same thing the other way. If I'm going to wrap this way, if I move this way, that angle is there. So that's the big thing when you're going to be creating angles using your footwork. So you can grab a shoe. Okay. So when you're stepping in to create angles, you want to try to step to the side more than anything. We call that lateral movement. Okay. So we're going to be going either this way or this way. 45-degree angles allow you to come in and make up for him backing up a little bit and still change your angle. If you went straight to the side, you're reducing the distance between your opponents, and we'll talk about that again in controlling distance. So if I want to open up right now, if I'm striking even a strike step forward, I might not be able to get his hit. But if I want to change the angle of the shot and go here, I might be able to get it a bit more, maybe not on his turn. All right. Or if I'm slow or lefty, leave it more if I'm just going to strike, it's a bit more difficult. If I want to get out on the outside and change the angle, I can come in a bit better. I see the shot better, I can come in a bit better. This works a lot for if you're planning to take people's legs too. Because if they're baiting out and they're expecting a leg shot, you might do that. So by changing the angle, it might force them to react differently, putting weight, changing the angle to strike down too. So different angle of attacks allows for different striking, okay? So keep that in mind when you're striking. If you're going to strike, you have a specific spot and you don't see it, changing at a 45-degree angle, you might be able to see that shot. It might just click in, be like, okay, that's open if I step this way. Now, if you step this way and look before you strike, then that might be a problem. You kind of got to think about how you're going to strike. So if you're going to come in corner, plan to strike as you're doing it. Because if you don't, then they're just going to react and you've completely lost all your speed of your footwork being in power. Okay, now the same thing happens when I need to block. So if Iggy here is going to try to rock here, I can step back. Okay, he's going to do the same thing. You're going to step in and do a half step. All right. If I step out to the side, I can change my angle of blocking. So he's going to do the same thing and he's going to hit me probably. Yeah. I was going to do the same thing. And all I did was step out to a 45-degree angle and that block was there. I didn't move my sword any different than my first shot. All I did was move out of the way. And this is what you use angles for blocking the same way you do for attacking. So if you know someone really likes to go on the outside, you're not going to want to come in this way, because here's the counterproductive move. Because all of a sudden I moved out of the way and he was able to hit me in. That's a counterproductive block. You want to move. You want to be able to move out this way, and you don't even need to move your sword because you've already moved your body, and the angle of the strike was able to block it. So, any questions about those? You guys want to practice it before I go into fakes? Or do you want me to just go right into fakes and practice it all after?
Go.
Keep talking. Anyone else? Do you want to practice, Noah? Keep going. What will you guys do?
Just nice words.
Just keep going? Okay. We'll practice all after, just that way I can just walk and you guys can pair up. Okay. So the next one I have, and this goes more on the intermediate side of footwork, is to use it as a fake. Okay. So in this example, I'll use it. That doesn't matter. So in this example here, fakes. If you guys remember my last class, I talked about fakes is to make someone think you're going one direction and going the other. Okay? Again, I'm going to just reiterate what I did in my last class. Is a fake is when you're going. I'm going to use a body fake in this situation. This is a fake. I'm going this way. He thinks I'm going here, and I'm going to go here instead. All right. So that's a body fake going this way. He's going to think I'm going that way. A feint was confusing. A feint is a fake strike. So now he knows that I can do that shot. So I'm going to go like this, and instead I'm going to come in this way. That's a feint because I feinted and I came in. Now you can do shot fakes too, and that's kind of where it becomes confusing. People confuse it. We talked about it in my last video about it. This is a fake shot that I more realized recently. Is when he knows that I can hit that shoulder. So I'm going to go for that shoulder. I'm not even going to strike, and the shot goes this way. See how it's a change of direction? The shot is the same shot. So it's a fake this way, and the inside this way. Whereas if I feinted there, I would do this, and then I would throw another shot, a different shot shape. So that's the difference, okay? So I'm going to show you guys a couple tricks. I'll show it on you. So I showed you guys the one I tend to do sometimes is this shot this way. All right, it makes you think that I'm going this way with the body, but I'm going this way with the sword. Now I find this works really well against leg shots. You know, you guys I don't like you guys very much, but if I do, I'll usually fake with my body. Well, swing it up to the leg instead of that shot there. That way I stay defended. You can do the same thing when you're wrapping around this way. Go here and then come in this way. Because most people, if you come in here, they're going to move that shield, and that's the only hit you're going to need is to get in there. So there's that one. There's the one I've been trying actually recently. You go down, and then they tend to want to follow the shield because they think I'm going to go here. I'm not going to actually fake down. I'm just going to go down and then pop up. And then you can do again the opposite here. You kind of look up and then dip down. So you can use your eyes to fake a lot, but footwork wise, like I was saying, sides and strike the opposite way you're going. I find that works really well, single sword, against a lot of people. So if I go in, step here, I can strike there. I find that works really well. Or that's found this way too. Just trying to remember the one that worked really well too. Actually, I find this works better across if I step in this way. That's if you're in that, yeah, put it in that hand. So if I'm here, match, there we go. No, yeah, you always want to have your foot up there. Oh yeah, okay, yeah. For someone, say you've armed them, and they have to switch to that arm, or you both arm yourselves, stepping in this way will make them want to go here, and then that arm is almost always open if they do that. So again, that's showing you that your footwork causes reaction, and you can always go the opposite way. That's called a fake of where you're not going to be going, or where you are, your body's going, but not where you plan on striking. And you don't want to do it waiting for a reaction. Again, like I mentioned before, if you're moving and waiting, then they might fall for the fake and then go back to the regular position and be able to block it. So anytime you go to pull a fake, feint, things like that, you have to make sure you follow through on the shot. You don't wait to see their reaction. You just expect that reaction to happen. Have a plan when you attack. So when you do a fake, here, what was your reaction? I'm going to swing there, right? So that's going to be there. So you don't want to do this and wait and then strike. Oh, okay, reacted. You're going to strike. You want to just say, okay, he knows I can throw that shot, so he's going to move that way. So you really have to analyze your opponents when you use your footwork to create a fake. Okay? Any questions on that? Okay. You guys want me to recap? That's all I have. Recap? Okay. So, quick recap. Half step when you're striking. Anytime you're striking, you want to make sure that you get that half step in. Alright? Unless your plan is to take a full step. And like I reiterated, there are some certain reasons why this full step is more effective, but not all the time. Your half step forward is going to be part of your game. You have to make sure that's trained on. If you're ever just practicing hitting something, make sure you're practicing hitting something and doing that step forward until it's engraved in your head. Second one I was talking about was dodging. Alright, so even using side steps, that'll go into controlling distance, but you can use it while baiting. If you expect someone to say hit you in the shoulder, with a quick side step on your footwork, you can really get them to open up and get there. I'll explain why dodging is very, very good later on. There's a difference between getting a shot blocked and a shot dodged. And I'll explain it in the next class. The next one was creating angles of attack. So when you go 45 degrees, you can completely change an angle of attack. If they're coming at you, even 45 degrees back will change a counter strike, or even aside. If you just go directly 90 degrees sideways on a less threatening opponent, if you have the range, you can change your angle even more. But the thing is, it puts you further, so it depends on where you are when you're fighting. Defense, you do the same thing when you're changing your angles, lateral movement. You can block shots that would normally hit you just by stepping and leaving your sword there. What that allows you to do too is when you step back, you can easily just step forward again and change the angle to attack. So that was both shields and weapons. I was just showing with the weapon because it's easier to show a shot that would have hit and a shot that won't hit if you change your angle. And then the last thing to reiterate again was attacking different places you're moving. So if you move to the right, you can attack to the left. Very obvious with single sword or flow. Your flow, and you want to get that side shot in. If you know that they're blocking your half step in to hit there, you can try going this way, have them open up so you can hit there. And of course, anything, like I said, duck down, hit up. That's another one too, anything like that. Okay, so that's my beginner to intermediate class. Hopefully it wasn't too complicated for beginners. What did you think? Questions about anything? Just want to practice it? Okay. Cool. Does that help you guys at all? Yeah? Stuff to practice? Good. Okay, so let's get practice. Have some water here, let's fight. Keep your shield nice and up. There you go. I can see your shoulder.